everyone. Welcome back to a new module. And this module is all about Figma, which is intro to Figma. So, those who are new or else want to learn some cool tricks in Figma, this is the right place for you. And this module is completely the basics of Figma. Okay. And what all things that you need to learn in Figma essentials. Okay. Yeah. So, what is Figma? See, you might know Google Docs or Word, Microsoft Word, right? So Figma is basically Google Docs for design. That's it. And yeah, just like Google Docs, you don't need to install anything for Figma. Just open your browser as I am, and you can start designing. It's cloud based, so you are not going to lose any of your file, and everything is saved in real time. Okay, and also the cool thing is you can collaborate live, like your friends can also join into your design file and you all can design together. Okay, and yeah, so it won't be like an annoying group project where one guy does nothing but still gets the credit. Okay, okay, let's get started. Let's first explore the Figma's website. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so I'll just type Figma. Let's go. Okay, so I'll have to first tell you what Figma is first of all, right? Awesome. Wait a minute. Let me show you my screen. Yep. Now I'll type figma.com. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Figma's website. Okay. It will be really cool. So you can just go through what these stuff are, what Figma does, what all features they have. Right. Their website will be really cool. Okay. Awesome. So now, if you already have a Figma account, you can you can log in, or else if you don't have an account, you can create one. Okay. Now, let's say I don't have an account. Let's click on Get Started for free. I'll give my mail ID and it'll get started. Awesome. Okay. The same as pricing, you can see their pricing. It is free for everyone, but yeah, when you have a professional team, then you might need to look into these stuff. Awesome. Okay, now let's get back to our Figma. Once logging in, you'll be redirected to this page. Okay, yeah. Now, first things first, files, right? So these are the files part, which is recent, which means the last file that you worked on. Okay, and then comes teams. In teams, you'll have shared workspaces, which means if you're collaborating with other people, right? So you'll have team. This is dude. If I want to create a new team and have new members into that team, I can create one and I can share my file with them. Okay. Okay, cool. Next have next we have start. Start in the sense files that are marked important. Okay, which means let's say you have worked about 100 design files, but you don't want to lose some files in the mess, right? Let's say I want to save this file as start. I'll click on start and it will be start, which means it's like favorite for me. Okay, awesome. Now, same thing is community. Now, this is a really awesome tool, not a tool, this is a cool place. So, this is a place where you can find free design files, UI kits, and you can find plugins. And like it's basically an open source design marketplace. Okay. Yeah. So, see, you can find presentations, you can find plugins, you can find design resources. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Let's get back to Figma again. Okay. Wait. How do I go back? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's get started then. Let's not waste. One more thing is notification. So here you'll get your updates, comments, and messages from your teammates. Okay, awesome. Let's get started. Let me create a new design file. Okay, so this is my new design file. All right. Okay, let's get started with the left panel. So this is where your design structure is. Basically, whatever you design here, this is the design structure. Let's name these. Okay, the left part is called the layer panel. Okay, which means your design layers and pages will be here. And center part that you can see is called the canvas. Okay, and on the right part is the properties and prototype setting. Okay, let's get started. So first thing is files. Files means whatever thing that you're working on will be reflected here. Then comes assets. Assets means whatever you take from Figma community or you create components will be reflected here. This is the file name. Now let me name this file as dude Figma 101. Okay, and then here you can see some settings or stuff like that. And yeah, so this is some things that you can look upon. Okay, let's get started. Pages. So this is your file, right? Inside your file, you can have different pages, just like Google Doc. Okay, here you're working on, let's say, an app, and another page you can work on website, right? Now this is website and this is app. Okay, now I want to work on app. If I want to work on website, I can work on website. Okay. TuteDude is the master page. Inside TuteDude, I can have TuteDude's app, TuteDude website, and then I can have design system. You can create as much as you want. Okay. Then comes layer. Okay. Layer means every element in your design is listed here. Just like folders, now. In File Explorer, you'll have folders. Just like in Photoshop, you'll have folders, right? Just like that, you'll have all your layers on the left panel. And in assets, you have, as I said, components, icons, and reusable elements. Okay. Okay. Awesome. Then let's move on to the right panel. Yeah. So the right panel is the design and prototype settings. So this is where all prototypes or properties and styles are controlled for you, which means we have a design tab. Here you can adjust the page color, right? Let me just switch back to my page color. Yeah. So this way you can switch your page color. Then we have prototype tab. Here I can set up interactions, whatever design I want to work on, whatever device it is. What color should that device's background must be, right? Should it be landscape or should it be portrait? Okay, awesome. Close this. Yep. Okay, I hope you're clear with for this. Next is local variable and style that will work on the design system part. Let's skip it for now. Then you have share button, which is the most powerful button for you. In this share button, you can invite teammates or your clients to view or edit the file. Okay, and then you can also share the You can copy the link here. Okay, and then you have let's say you then have the prototype button. You have present and preview. Here you can present your file and you can preview your prototype, right? I hope you're clear with this. Let's now work on the actual part, that is the canvas part. Okay, are you ready? Okay, let's get started then. Yes. So in this bottom toolbar, you will find an awesome stuff which is going to help you 70% of the time when you design. Okay. So let's start. First, you have the move tool. The move tool allows you to select and move objects. Okay. Basically, this is let's say this is a shape. Now I am in my move tool, right? So the move tool will allow me to select it and move it. Okay, that is the primary concept. And also you can drag to change the size of a shape or whatever it is, right? So this is what move tool does. Then comes hand tool. We have the hand tool to just move around, right? So just move around and lets you drag the canvas around the whole page. Hope you're clear with this. Next we have zoom and scale. Means zoom and scale. Let's not take it as zoom, let's take it as scale. So in move tool, what you did was you dragged it, right? You dragged it to increase the size. But the ultimate goal of scale is to adjust the size of an element. Now, if you see, you'll have width and height, right? So if you want to scale it to 4x, the whole object is now scaled to 4x, which means the width and height increase, right? Let me move it to 1x again. So it will again move to 1x. So that's how things work here. Okay. Awesome. Now if I wanna increase it, this is how it'll increase. And if I wanna increase it here, you can see the anchor point. If I choose this point, the point is on the left. If I choose this point, the point is on the right. Right. Now if I choose bottom, top, top, bottom, you can see here. And now coming to corners. If I choose this corner, right corner gets clicked. If I choose this corner, right corner gets clicked. Hope you are clear with this. Awesome. Now let's move on to the next one, that is the frame. So the frame is the important thing in this whole canvas, guys. This is where you're going to work on this stuff. Okay. So this is the main container for your UI designs. Now I'll click on frame, and when I click on frame, I'll have different stuff. Now, if you are designing for a mobile phone, you have to select what mobile that you're working on. It can be any mobile, right? Sometimes you will be designing for multiple mobiles. Then you will have a responsive design. Doesn't matter. You can choose anything that you want here, but based on your requirements. And this is the main container. So you can think of it as an art board. This is inside this only you're gonna work, right? And then comes the section. Now let's say I have three of these. Okay, I have three of these stuff. Now to section this, now let's say I have four. Let's take it as six. Okay, six. Now, what I am planning is these three are login pages and these three are the important settings page. Now, how do I make them as a group, right? Without making them as a frame. If you make them as a frame, that doesn't work actually. You have to make it section. So, section is used for grouping elements together for better organization. Now, this is the section. I'll create a section here, and this has become a section, right? Now I can name this as login pages. This is the login page, right? Now let's say another section is this. I'll add it as a section. You can add it either like this or you can select the frames and then wait a minute. Okay, let me move to more tool. Yeah. Here you can click and then sorry, not here. You can click here and it will say wrap in a new section. Control plus yes. Right. So control S. That's it. It is now a new section for you. Okay, I hope you understood this point of what I'm trying to explain. Now, some people might be confused like, hey, dude, how did you select three of these? See, you can do two things. You can either drag all of them, or let's say you don't want this. So you can't drag, right? So at this point, you can press shift while pressing shift. While pressing shift, you can click here and then you can click here, right? Hope you can get this stuff clearly. Awesome. Hmm. So I can select like this and I can work on this. Awesome, right? Okay. I hope you're clear with this. I don't want to waste you guys' time. Now let's say another thing we have is slice. So slice is a tool that is not mostly used, but yeah, it is very helpful. So it helps in exporting a specific area as an image. Now if I want to only export this part, I can slice it and I can export it. Okay? Hope you're clear. I'll show you in the next point of how it works actually. Okay, now we have shapes and tools. Let me just delete all of these. Now I have shape and tools. Inside shape, we'll have multiple shape as you can see here, right? The first shape is rectangle. You know rectangle, right? Now, people might think, how do I create a square out of a rectangle? You know that square has all the sides as the same size. So width and height must be same. The dimensions must be same, right? But if you are creating a rectangle, you can just pull out like this. You just drag and then it will become a rectangle. Hope you're clear with this. And if I am dragging like this, now you'll see that a line is there, a diagonal line is there, right? So to do that, you'll see that there is a stuff called block aspect ratio. You can do two things. You can either press shift and then you can drag like this. Now, if you want a perfect square, give the same dimension. Now, this is a perfect square. You can just press shift and you can do like this. Or else, if you want to lock the aspect ratio. Now, see, without pressing shift, if I drag, it is creating a it is creating an irregular shape, right? So to fix this, you can click on ratio. Now this aspect ratio is locked, which means even without pressing shift, right, it will automatically lock the aspect ratio based on the diagonal. Hope you are getting this point right. Awesome. Now, when I created a shape, I have some new properties here. Let's look at the first property, that is the dimension. So in dimensions, you'll have width and height, which you obviously know, so I'm not going to waste your time. Next, we have appearance. In appearance, you'll see opacity and corner radius, right? Now, let me just do one thing for you. I'll just add a cool tool. Wait a minute. Okay, now I guess it'll be helpful for you. Now I am selecting this. On the right side, you can see that dimension and height is there. Opacity means uh let me show you how opacity works. 100% opacity means it will be fully visible. Okay? Fully visible. If you turn it to 0, then it will be transparent. Okay? Now if you fix to 50, okay, fix to 50, and let me just add a shape and send it to backwards. Now this is at the back of the shape. Okay, let me just add a white color and make it to black color. Yeah. See, it is now 50% visible, right? Make it 75%, 75% visible. Okay. And then you have corner radius. Now let's say I have want to have this radius is a bit smoother. I can make it to 32 or how much ever I want. We make it 16, and then I have corner radius smoothing. So smoothing means now, if you see, there are a little bit of crack here. I don't know whether you can see a little bit of crack will be there between these two. So in iOS and in Android also, but in iOS primarily you have corner smoothing, which means, let me just show you. Now it is in 0. Now when I am changing it, you can see, right? It is smoothing out. See, 60 is the base, which is the perfect one, so that it doesn't look like a crack here. As you can see, right? You can see this is a 60. But when you take it to 100, it will be too much smoother, right? It doesn't look like a smoothened shape. It looks a little bit uglier. In Zomato, they use 100%. Might be a good design decision for them. I don't know why. But 60 is the perfect one, which will make your rectangle look perfectly rounded. Awesome. Next, we have visibility. Visible or not, just like the eye stuff. And then you have this stuff that is called blend mode. Okay. In blend mode, you'll have multiple types of blend mode. For blend mode, let's say I want to have it. Okay, let's say this is the black one. This is the whiter one. Okay. Now I'll fix. Normal means normal. Darken, multiply doesn't work in anything. Okay, let me put it to, let's say, red. Okay, we'll go through that in our upcoming video because this one is a complex part. This comes under color stuff. Okay, so we'll look into that in the color theory part. Awesome. Now let's do the next thing is the fill thing. So in fill thing, you can give some color to the shape. As simple as that. You can change color by clicking here. Click here and you can change the color. Okay, and you'll have you'll have transparency, and then you can take the hex code, RGB, CSS also, and then have HSL, HSB, whatever you want, and then you have gradient. Inside of gradient, you'll have stop, which means in stop you can add multiple points, and you can fix them here as you want, and you can also change the percentage. Percentage means, let's say I want it at this percentage, which means let's say it is 15 percentage, it will go to 15 percentage. Okay, and then out of this stuff, if you want to change it, not like this but like this, right? No, horizontal, so you can change it, right? And then you have flip. Now I want these parts to come here and these parts to go there, just like mirroring. Okay? You can flip it. Okay, and then you have gradient. Radial means in linear you saw that it comes in a linear way, top to bottom or left to right or right to left or whatever. But in radial it will be in a circular mode. As you can see, it is in a circular mode. Then you have angular, just like clock. Okay, and then you have diamond. So yeah, just like radial but in diamond shape. That's it. And then you have image. If you want to add an image, you can upload from a computer. Okay, let's say I'm adding this, this headphone image. But if I want to change the contrast, I can change the contrast. Want to increase the exposure, you can do a lot of stuff here. And then you have video. Okay, so in video you can add video as much as you want, and then you have libraries for this. Awesome. Hope you got fill part. If you want to hide, if you can also overlap your fill, which means you can add two colors. Okay. Now the base color is white, let's say, and you want to fill two colors, red and yellow. Okay. So red and yellow has been filled and a new color has been created. If you can hide it and hide it, you can change the layer of it. You can see here whatever I am adding here, the layer are also being added. Awesome. And yeah, this is done. Hopefully, I hope you're clear with it. And then we have stroke. Same as fill. Okay, the same as the fill part. But when you click on stroke, you can add a outline. You can add an outline here. In outline, you have position, which means inside of this shape, or if you want it to be center, center, you can see half part here, half part there, outside, outside of the shape. Okay, awesome. Weight in the sense how much amount of stroke outline you want here. If I switch it to 5, the width of this will increase. That's it. That's the concept here. Same as Phil's concept, the same stuff is going to be added here. Same concept. Now I wanna configure it. Let's say I don't want this to be a solid outline. I want it to be a dashed outline. This is how dash works. We can make it to 5 and the dashes will be 5. The spaces will be 5. Okay. And then yeah, dash cap in the sense, uh let's say, let me just make it to 10. Okay. Dash cap means if you change it to this, which means this is a rounded dash cap. Okay. Each dash will have a rounded format. Or if you want it to be a little bit outside, which means how can I tell you? Wait, let me make it to 20 for you. Outside means, see, the dash cap here is fully stretched to the whole outline of it. But here it has been pushed a little bit, just like a square. Okay, means this is a dash. Okay, I'll add a line now. Uh, okay, now this is a dash. Okay, and then comes this dash, which means the second one which we saw. So the space here is increased here, just like a square. Okay, a square will be added here so that an extra point will be added here. I hope you're clear with my explanation here. And then comes, let's see this, let's change it to this one. Okay, and then I'll make it to 4 or 2. 2 is enough. Yes, now I have this stuff wherein in stroke I don't want all sides, I want a left side. So the left side will only be stroked out. And if you want custom, which means you want only left and right, then it means left and right will be changed to 2. Okay, awesome. So let's clear this out. Next we have effects. Effects in the sense, first is drop shadow, right? Let me make it to white. Yeah, you can see the drop shadow now. So the drop shadow is x-axis, y-axis. In x-axis, left and right. Y-axis is top and bottom. Then have blur. If you increase the blur, you can see, right? The blur, it looks like this. And then you have spread. So in spread, the ultimate concept of spread is your blur can go only this much, right? Only this much of amount. Let me make it to zero again. But now it is not visible. So if you want to spread it out, you can increase the spread concept. And if you now give blur, the blur will go very far. Now, if you want the blur to go more far, you can see, right? Hope you're clear with this. And then you have the color part. You want to change the drop shadows color, you can change it. Then you have opacity, make it to 100 as you wish, right? Awesome. So this was for drop shadow. Drop shadow means shadow outside of the shape. Then comes inner shadow, shadow inside of the shape. Okay. Now let me decrease the blur now. And also spread is too much here. Okay. Spread is -4 and then blur can be increased. If you want y axis, y top bottom, then x left right. Awesome. And then same goes with the color. Now these two are done. Next we have layer blur. Make it to black again. Yeah. Layer blur means this whole object will be blurred out. You can change the intensity of this blur as I am doing. Okay. Yeah. So I hope you're clear with this. Then we have background. Now you might be confused. What does background blur do, Salman? Now I'll add another one. Now to duplicate this shape, we have a shortcut wherein if you want to duplicate it, you can right click and copy and paste again. This is one concept. Another concept is you can right click and then okay, so they don't give duplicate here. Then I'll give you the shortcut itself. Let's not waste any time. Okay, press Control D. Okay, and then a duplicated version has come. Or else, you can just press Alt. Once you press Alt, you can see that the cursor has two. There are two cursors now, right? So you can press Alt and then just drag it over. One more is created, right? Now for this concept, I'll just use Control D and another shape is created. Now the background blur should be on the top, which means the top layer should have the background and bottom layer should not have background. Let's remove. Now you still are not able to see the difference, right? So to make you see the difference, you should reduce the opacity of the film. Let me make it to 50. Now this is how glass morphism works, my friends. You can see, right? So in iOS and other stuff, you'll be able to see that. Hmm? Let me make it to 50 itself for now. So 50 or 40. You can just do like this. Awesome, right, guys? Hope you're clear with this. Yep. Okay, let's not waste any time. I was distracted, sorry. First comes line. For line, you can do one thing. Now, see, some people might not be able to pull the correct line, straight line. So, to do that, press shift, and then set a point, drag it over. If you want it to be exactly straight, that is fine. If you want it to be 45-degree, can also be done. 45-degree, 90-degree, just like clock. But if you take your finger out of the shift button, then you can move freely. But when I press shift, only the proper degree can be taken out. Okay, so in line, you won't be able to use fill. So it is not worth using it. Then here you'll have stroke. Stroke, the concept is same for stroke. And then you have start point and end point. For the start point, we have nothing here, and also in the end point, we have nothing. Now I'll click on start point, and let's say I want it to be rounded. It will be now rounded. Same for the right side. Okay, awesome. Now, if I want the start point to be diamond arrow, it can be diamond circle, reverse triangle, lot of stuff, right? Lot of stuff. But on the right side, I want it to be circle, let's say reverse. You can see, right? Okay, awesome. And then if you want to switch positions, you can switch position. Okay, cool, 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 guys. So this is how this works. The line works. Then you have arrow. Arrow is exactly the same, exactly the same. Just that you have an arrow point on the left side. That's it. That's it. You have an arrow point. That same. You can change the arrow point also. Same, same like line. Let me remove these two. And now we have eclipse. If you want to have an oval like this, but if you want to have a circle, press shift and pull it, drag it. Okay. Now, see, in circle, you have some stuff therein. Let's say you want to have half circle only. What you can do is when you click here, you'll see a, how can I show you? You'll see an arc stuff here, right? So to do that, press on the arc and then drag. Same stuff. You can use shift to have a proper angle stuff, and then yeah. Now this is half triangle, then one quadrant. So you can do like this, right? You can work. Okay, it will be fun doing it, just like this. Yep. Now what we did was called as sweep. Okay, this is called as sweep. Then what you have is, let's say you have ratio. So in ratio, if you don't want it to be a full circle and if you want only the outline stuff, you can just press this and then just pull it. Just drag it like this and you can switch stuff. Hmm? Awesome. Now, next we have is the start point. If you want the start point, which means this is sweep and this is start. If you want the start point at 90-degree, you can have it at 90-degree. If you wanted to have it 90, this is 90, but that was minus 90. If you wanted to have it minus 180 can be done. Same as 0. Awesome. So I hope you're clear with this. Now if you switch corner radius, you can have corner radius like this. And same as in you can have corner smoothing also. Yep. Okay. Same concept goes for other stuff which we learned in the rectangle stuff. And then you have polygon. Polygon is nothing, guys, just like triangle, but you can have different sides. See, triangle has three sides, right? Similarly, other shapes will have other sides. Hexagon, pentagon, right? Now, if you want four sides, you can have four sides. Diamond is created. Then you can have five sides. Then you can have six sides, seven. You can have as much as you want. You can even create a proper circle. See, 60 is a proper circle. Right. But instead, you can just create a circle, yeah. Don't waste, right? And you can have corner radius, same stuff, right? You can also drag to increase the count. You can also drag to increase the count. Okay. Awesome. Same fill and other concept will be applied here. Next, you have star, the final concept. In star, the concept is simple, guys. For star, see, just like in side of how can I tell you? In triangle, we had sides, right? So similarly for star, you can have sides. Number of lines or whatever you call it. Okay, this count can be increased to make something like this. Now, let's say this star is not perfect. Now you can also change the angle like this. See, it again became the previous one that we saw, right? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so this is also done. Then you have image. You can just click on it and you can add an image. Then we have the pen tool. Pen tool is simple, guys. You can use it to create an icon. Now, let's say I'm going to create a home icon. Okay, first things first. Some people might put wrong points, which will make it look like a slanted line or something. So to fix that, press shift and you can have proper angles. Then again a proper angle. Then again a proper angle. Now I want to have a house, right? This I guess pressing shift you'll have 45-degree angle properly. Fix here, then press here. Then I guess it is still not center. And then once you have fixed your points, press Control and Enter. Now your vector is created, right? Go to stroke, change the color. and Yeah, awesome, right? And it just does not look good, but yeah, I tried my best. Now, if you want to now change some points, like if you want to change some points, okay, now press in this line stuff, this vector, and then double tap, and yeah, you can now change it. Let's say I don't want it to be like this, I want it to be center. Don't know whether this is center or not. Yeah, this looks cool. Okay, now let's say this is not center. I want it to be inside of the point, and I want it to be 0.5. This is 0.5, and if I want corner radius, now corner radius, let's say this does not look like house still. Select these 2 points, press shift, and then a little bit. I'm using the arrow keys. A house icon is created. Right? You can add an aspect ratio here just in case. Okay, the width should also be 10. Okay, now it looks like us house. And now, let's say you wanted to create a frame to this. Now, vector is created. To make it as a frame, press Control Alt S. Sorry, Control Alt G to create a frame. So now this is a frame. Now you can increase the size of this frame to, let's say, 16 by 16. 16 by 16. Lock the aspect ratio. Make it centered to centered. And then yeah. Yep. Now we need to learn about alignment, right? So for alignment, you have left, center, right, which means left of the frame. This is left of the frame, center, right. Similarly, top right, or top left, top bottom. So you can work on this. Now, next we have constraints. Constraint means if you want to be center, let's say. Okay, now it is in the center, right? It is locked. The constraints are locked in the center. Now it will always be at the center of how much ever you pull. So for this, we will learn this concept clearly in our responsive design video. So you must look at that. Okay, awesome. So yeah, now pen is done. Pencil is simple. Just to create rough sketches, you can use pencil. Let me make it a white. Yep. So this is a mobile phone. Mobile phone. I have a header. Okay, wait a minute. Press shift if you want to make a direct straight line. Okay, now this is a mobile. Inside the mobile, I'll have a header. For the header, I will have, let's say, a logo here and an icon here. Here, I will have an image. Let's say this is an image. Okay, here I'll have a text, small texts. This is how you can use pen tool to ideate or write or whatever. You can have good handwriting. Anything. Next is the most important thing that is called text, right? So in text, let's say I'm writing a text. Hello. So text has multiple parameters and properties inside of it. So let's look at it one by one. The concept is same for fill. You can change the fill color. You can add a stroke. So let's skip these concepts, but look at these concepts. This is the most important one that you need to learn. Awesome. So let's say I want to change the font. This is enter. You can click here and I will change this to Poppins. Or if I want, I will change it to anything I want. My likings, right? This is my favorite. IBM Plex Sans. Then you have the weight. Font weight means the amount of width for each of these lines. Right, I'll show you it. Regular means 400 is the regular weight. Yeah. Next we have light, extra light, thin. Then we have medium, semi bold, bold. Then comes italic, bold, italic, underline. We know, right? You can also do like this, guys. Press this, press Control B, and it will be bold. You want it to be italic, press Control I. But if you don't want to be bold italic, then just change it to Control B again, and it will be only italic. And if you want it to be underlined, press Control U, just like Google Docs. And then if you want it to have a strikeout, press Control Shift X, and it will have a strikeout. Okay, awesome. Let me just move it. Yeah. So I hope you know what this is. Now next comes the font size. Now this is 12 pixels, right? If I want it to be 14 pixels or 16, 20, 24, 32, it can be anything. You can increase the size, you can give custom size as 24. It doesn't matter. Your wish, right? Next we have line height. Now line height is auto for now, right? Let me switch it to 16 again. Then I'll have a custom one. Okay. Okay. Now I'll write hello world. How are you? I am fine. Okay. Now for this font size, we have auto, which means the space between the lines. That is what we call it. Now, if you want very, let's say, if you want the line height to be very much closer, you can just make it to 16. See, just too close, right? You can reduce it accordingly. Drag it to reduce it, or can give value. And next we have letter spacing. In letter spacing, it is simple, just like line height between the lines, you'll have between the letters, space between the letters. For now, it will be percentage, 1 percentage, 5 percentage, but you can change it to pixels by giving px. Now, let's say I want 0.5 minus 0.5 px. A pixel is have now been changed. I can reduce it like this. Okay. Then we have alignments. In alignments, you have left alignment, center alignment, right alignment. Okay. And then you have top alignment, middle alignment, bottom alignment. Now you might have a doubt. Now, Halman, I want every line to go straight, like to go in a straight way. What? You don't have to do nothing. In resizing, you'll see this one. First one is auto width, which means no matter how much content you write, it will just be automatically fixing the width. It will be stretching accordingly. But let's say you want to have auto, you don't want auto width, but you want auto height. Let's say, let's say like this, right? Now see, the width, you have fixed the width won't change, but the height will change. Auto height, that is what you call auto height. Okay. But then you have custom, which means fixed size. You fix the height and you fix the width. Which means now let's say it is going outside of the width, but as you can see, the container of the text is same. You have fixed it to 194.65, but the content inside is overflowing, right? Now let's say I'll top align the content. Okay, now the alignment is top uh aligned. But let's say now what I'll do is I'll change it to auto height. Now you can see the container automatically fixing it. Now similarly, I'll change it to auto width. Now see, every content here is auto width. But yeah, one thing you can do is you can press here and you can click enter. Still it is an auto width, but because you gave the enter and you made it a new line, right? So yeah, same stuff. Okay. Next we have the advanced properties. Okay, let me remove all of these stuff. Okay, let's have these stuff for now. Go to advanced. The basic advanced stuff are here. These I taught you, right? These I told you how to work on it. Then you have casing. So if you want every text inside to be uppercase, Just uppercase it, and then you have lowercase, and then you have capitalized, which means the first letter of every word will be capitalized. And then you have, what is it? Okay, this does not let me do it. Okay, all caps means how can I tell you? This is hello, right? This is hello. This is E. But this will also be capitalized, but will be in a smaller size, smaller font size, let's say of 8, like this. Okay, but that doesn't support, this font doesn't support it, right? Then you have vertical trim. Vertical trim means, I'll tell you in a different way, different video. And then you have list style. Now let's say I want it to be a bullet list, right? This is bullet and this is numbered. And then let's say you don't want two, this two. Now let's say if you press enter now, it will take it as a new line. But you don't want it to be a new line. So what you can do is press shift enter so that it doesn't take it as a new line but a same line. Okay. Awesome. Let's go again. And here you have list spacing, which means spacing between these three lines. 16 or let's say 24. Okay, sorry, I selected it like this. Press select all by clicking Control A. Then I'll give 32 and there is a space between 32. But now you might be confused as Salman, why not we give line height here and then it will be changed? No, line height is for same lining, right? Now you'll understand the concept. Let's say I'm changing the line height to 16. This is 16. These spaces 16 and these spaces are 32. Okay. Then you have paragraph. Paragraph is similarly as list spacing only. Let's say I'll make it to 64 again. Okay. Now let's say this is one, and then uh this is list, right? But now let's say I have paragraph inside of it. Let's say, okay, now this is a paragraph, not a list. Now inside this list, I'll add enter. Now it has become 4, but no, it should not be 4. Again enter, and then press Control V. Now you will understand the concept here. This is line spacing. Okay, this is list spacing, and outside of the list then you have paragraph. This is paragraph spacing because this was a paragraph, right? Now this is a paragraph, which means 64 pixels as we gave. Let's make it to 16 now. 16. Okay, sorry, not 16 like this. You have to select the whole paragraph, make it to 16. Now this is 16, right? But here it is 32, and between these two it is 64. But if you change it to 16 again, it will be okay. Got it. Now next we have truncate text. Now let's say you don't want your content to go outside of anything that you want. Let's say this is the text. I'll paste it again here, make it to auto width. Yeah. Now I'll go here and I'll truncate the text. Now you have given maximum line as 1, which means if any content goes to next line, now there are content outside below this, but it truncates the text. Now if you want maximum of 2 lines, 2 lines will be taken. Maximum of 5 lines, 5 lines will be taken. But now we have 3. Let's reduce it more. 4 lines. Next comes 5 line. Once it reaches sixth line, it doesn't go. Right? Awesome. Then you have details. This is font specific content, guys. Font, I mean, font specific content in the sense, let's say detail. First is hanging list. Now see, the list is here, starts here, but I want numbers to start here, but the text to start here. What I can do is press hanging list. So this content is fixed here with the list numbers are on the left side. Then you have paragraph indent. Now let's say this is a paragraph, right? And then you have indent. Let's say let's take it again like this. I'll press shift enter here again. Now what I'll do is I'll give paragraph indent of 64. Now there is a paragraph indent between these two paragraphs, which means they start from here only and not from here because that's what we gave. But same stuff. If this is the same line, then that doesn't follow that, right? Clear. Awesome. Then we have numbers. Let's say I want to show that a square to 0. Okay. I want it to be, yeah. Now let's say, now see, there is a concept that you want to learn. You should learn this. Now, when you randomly want to increase the size of this text, na, it doesn't increase. So to fix this, what Figma did was you can go to here and change to scale or press K, and then you can directly increase the size of this font, and everything else will automatically increase. Now see, everything else increased, right? Awesome. Make it to again like this. Increase. Now I'll put A2. A2. But now this 2 should be a square or a bottom thing. Okay. Now let's say I want it to be let's say a subscript, which means A2. But if you want to be a superscript, you can do like this, right? And yeah. Then what else? These are all completely about the font. They'll change according to the font, right? So you don't have to learn that much. But if you want to learn, you can go to their website, each font's website, and you can learn. You can go to Google Fonts and you can search about it. Awesome. The font is done. Then comment tool. Now let's say you can leave with comment tool, you can leave feedback directly on the design, just like sticky notes. Now let's say you designed this icon. Okay. And I'm sorry, not you. Let's say your teammate designed this icon, but you didn't like this top part. What you'll do is you'll click here and like, I don't like this, bro. It looks ugly, just like you. Okay. And your friend will come here, and when he clicks on this, they can read it. I don't like this, bro. So what they'll do is they'll go here, press here, again change the corner radius of this specific point to 0. Okay. And then they'll click here, fixed it. Okay. And then they'll press resolved. That's it. Awesome. So you got it, no? Yeah. Then what we have is uh let's say, wait a minute. Then we have export. Now if you want to export this icon, you can go here and then you can give export. Okay. When exporting, we need to make sure 0.5x, 0.7x, 0.1x, 1.5x, 2x, 3x, 4x, it will go what? Okay. 4x means the scaling of it, which means if you give 0.5x, the quality of this icon won't be good. But if you take it to 4x, which means the quality of this icon will be really good. Can be PNG, SPG, JPG, PDF. 4x and this is 0.5x. Okay. Awesome. Now let us next focus on this one. What is this? Come on, what is this, dude? This is new stuff that I'm gonna learn. Right. Okay, let's take two shapes. You might have learned Venn diagram, right? Okay. The first is, let's click on these three dots. You can first see these four stuff, right? Union means select these two shapes and then press union selection. Now they are now union. Now if you select this one or this one, both will get selected. Now then you have, let me take it now. Now then you have subtract selection, which means, how can I show you? Wait, yeah, this one. Let me bring it close. You can see, right? Lunar eclipse is being done here, lol. Right. So this will just hide the other stuff. Okay. You might think that this is because of a black background, but no. Let me take out the black background. Yes. Okay. Now this was one. Then you have intersection. Change it to intersect. Now only the points that are being intersected will be visible. Okay. Then you have exclude. The one that are not being intersected with will be visible. Okay. And then you have flatten. Flatten is nothing, guys. If you wanted to see, now it is looking like a group, right? But if you want it to be a complete selection, which means complete new vector, go to flatten selection. And now it is not a group, but a whole selection, and it can't be edited now. Just like we saw on that. But now it can't be edited. There's now a whole new shape that you created. Okay. Next, we have a rectangle. And then out of this rectangle, what we'll do is select these two and press Ctrl G to create a new group, and then press select this one and change it to uses mask. Mask means whatever element inside of the bottom element, which means the mask element, will only be visible. Outside of it won't be visible. Okay, awesome. So this was the concept for that. And then we have some awesome stuff that you need to see. I'll select four rectangles. Okay, give these two this one a name, hello, and these two a name, bye. Okay. Now let's say you want to select only the only hellos, right? So to do this, what you can do is wait a minute. Okay, it, are they giving that option here? Okay, they are not giving that option. I guess to do that, what you can do, wrap it in the new section. Okay, they are still not giving it. Dumb Figma. Wait, I'll show it in a different way. Frame one, frame two, frame three, frame four. Are they giving it still? Nope, they're not. I guess that works on components, and we'll see about it in components wala part. Don't worry. Okay, now I'll tell you some uh cool shortcut. First shortcut was Control D or Alt to duplicate stuff. Then we had Shift to multi-select elements. Okay. Then we had what did we have? We had Control SCTRL plus S to create a section of items. Control S. Okay. Yep. And then we have Control backslash CTRL plus backslash. So what this does is this will hide all the elements, and you can freely showcase your design in a meet or to a client so that it doesn't look ugly. Right. I hope you're clear. Yep. So this is how that worked. Yeah, I guess pretty much we learned a lot about Figma. Yeah. So we don't have to now worry about how Figma works, what all these tools do. Ah, yeah, this one is dev mode. Dev mode, I guess it needs to be a paid version. But yeah, I'll teach you dev mode also in the design system part. Don't worry about it. Okay. Now I guess we are now good with the concept of Figma, right? The essentials of Figma. Now we need to learn about the actual creation using these tools. How do we create a single screen? Let's let it be an app or a website. How does it work? Okay, cool. So now I guess you are clear with this. I hope I'll be seeing you in the next video. And till then, thank you and bye bye. Come to the next video, guys. Don't waste time. Learn, learn. Bye bye.